Hello everyone, this is Winston Kunene. I am your host today for your podcast. I've got a very lovely, incredible young gentleman next to me, Kyle Mckay. He's the managing director of Libertalia Group. Very, very impressed with this man, his work ethic. He's done very well for himself at such a young age. He's got many, many more years ahead of him. And I believe he can really, really do a lot in this country, in this economy. And yeah, the reason why I started this podcast really it's just basically starting a conversation in the country about the economic status, what the youth goes through in terms of career moves, in terms of decision making, life choices, business decisions, entrepreneurship, and just to get a little bit of an insight on what other successful people have done, and hopefully you viewers will be able to learn from that, sitting at home listening to someone else who's managed to do something with their life and who's made a success out of it. So yeah, Kyle, how you doing?
I'm good, and you, man?
Very good, thank you. Cheers to our first podcast.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tense time trying to find a place to sit and record.
Yeah.
It started one in a park, and then I think with the pandemic as well as the time and everything, you're gonna run into a bunch of problems anyway. So
that's true.
I think this is the best bet. And I think we just stumbled across this. I think I'm not even gonna say where we are just in case.
Yeah.
But it's a nice background, a nice environment. I hope the audio comes out fine.
Yeah.
And,
We'll obviously grow from there.
Yeah. I think definitely, it'd be nice to get mics, nice to get little wind sockies, so we don't have to worry about wind, and we can record where we want to. But I think for now, just having something. I think investing in all that right now takes away from the casualness of it and building from it. It's you got to start somewhere. Just start with the camera and a tripod and go from there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not gonna. You can't just go and invest.
Overnight thing.
Yeah, you can't. There's no way. And if you do, at least for what I think we want it to be, of like a casual conversation, it's not going to be that. Or I think the origins and the foundations, or it's going to take away from that. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I don't know if you prepared questions. I don't know.
No, it's like you said, it's going to be as casual as possible. Just mainly having a conversation about where we are currently, who you are as a person. I'd like our viewers to actually, get a lot of insight on your experience and your wisdom. You really, really are such an intelligent person. It's an honor for me to have interacted with someone so smart and so brilliant in his thinking, in his problem solving, in his constantly analytical and constantly asking questions with curiosity. You've shared some of the books with me. You're so much into philosophy and just psychology, philosophy, and yeah, you always help me think. So tell us a little bit more about you. Who are you? Who's Kyle Mckay?
That's such a question. Thank you. I think it's in any situation. It's always two people. You can't have a conversation with one person, or at least you can't have a conversation without a topic. And it seems that every time we have a conversation, it somehow leads to a good topic. Whether we meet because of work and then we end up having a discussion about whatever. And I think it's the openness to have a discussion, whether it's a topic about family or whether it's a topic about work experience or what you fear, what you love, what you relationships. I think, and exposing those not taboo subjects, but very very personal subjects like relationships. We've had how many conversations about relationships, and I in no way think what I do is correct, and I think it's the opposite. Sometimes I know what I'm doing is wrong, but it works for me in that situation. and it's exactly the same as you, and I'm just interested to find out how you do it. I mean, I asked you a question a while back, of, how you had handled the situation, and you handled it very differently than what I would have handled it. It's not that I would have handled it the right way, it's just having
a matter of, there's not really a right or wrong.
And I think, I found myself wondering how to talk about a topic that doesn't make me sound arrogant. And I don't know anything for sure, but that's the point of it. Whether it's a topic of religion or politics or whatever, you're meant to sit down, and the best I can do is walk you through how I think. And maybe if you say to me, well, maybe that's not the right way to think, then I know. Yeah, then I know. Then okay, well, that doesn't work for Winston, and he actually does. This is the reason why he might think this way, and this is. I think that's why we work well. It's even though we have opposing thoughts and opinions and whatever, it's still a matter of having a discussion. It's still a matter of talking. I think that goes with anything, whether it's where Bradley talks to you and he's got a different thing to you, or I talk to Bradley and I got a different thing to him. I'm not going to him and saying that this is the right way to say it.
Yeah.
I'm just interested in the way he thinks. Or maybe it's that I don't know for sure how I think, so talking to you about how you handle a situation might help me reflect. Maybe. I don't know. That's a question with multiple answers.
There has to be a correlation somewhere there.
Yeah, there has to be. There's no way. There's no way of... And I think it's difficult to talk to someone who thinks that they're right. Well, not thinks that they're right, sorry. That insists that they're right.
That they're right, okay.
Whether,
I get you.
Yeah, and it just makes it difficult. I remember the first meeting we ever had was the first ever Libertalia meeting we had was here. And we brought up the topics of religion, and that was like almost one of the first meetings of Libertalia. Yeah. And we sat and we had this like 10-minute, 15-minute discussion that we briefly scraped it. But even though we had different, opposing the thoughts, I completely understood and respected where you came. And I think that's what makes, at least in my mind, why I think this would be very useful information. It's just to sit and have a discussion. Whether it's with someone that you do agree with, that you don't agree with. And you know what's funny is, in preparation for this, I was wondering, there's been one topic where we haven't spoken about, which is like the go-to, which is what do you think that school should have taught you? We've never discussed that. Out of all the topics and it's funny, we have this, or at least, with your experience in school and my experience in school, it would be great to hear what you think. For the youth, even for the teachers.
It's a very good question that you're asking. I once thought about that, but when you look at the subjects I chose, so I took business studies, I took physical science and geography, and I think when I look at myself today, when I look at myself back in high school, it's a complete different scenario. If I had to go back to school, I would go back to school and study the specific things that would have helped me advance in certain ways.
Yeah.
So tax is a common conversation that we have in this country.
Yeah. Anything finance.
Accounting, knowing how to handle your accounts, your finances, your personal finances. Budgeting. So important things like budgeting, how to handle your finances. Those are practical skills that we all need as soon as we are thrown out there in the bush. I call it a jungle. The jungle of Joburg. When you come out of school, the kind of responsibility that you have in school is totally different to the kind of responsibility that you have in real life. When you start your career, when you start a family, and
did you like school?
Did I like school? I hated school.
Is that because of the authority? Is that because you found it useless? Is it because of the environment you were in?
Okay. In terms of authority, yes. I think I've never I've always hated being told what to do, and not because I knew what I was doing, but it's just an independent mindset that I've always had, that you know what, if I want to do something, I can do it this way. If I feel comfortable in a situation, I will feel comfortable in a situation in this manner. But every time I was instructed to do things, every time I was told how to do things, the idea of waking up in the morning, wearing a uniform, going to school, coming back, and
No, I think I read a lot of books. I think they all, well, they're not, I know that they're all either philosophy books or psychology books, and I think it's easier for me to relate to, especially if I'm in that mindset to read that book or that topic, whether it's something about life or it's something, you know, westernized, or it's something that's, you know, Russia in the like World War II era. It really depends on what I'm feeling. But most of the time, there's always like psychology books or philosophy books, something along those lines that help, that help me and my thinking. Yeah, I'll just wait for the plane to come. Wait for the plane. No, we're waiting for the plane. Yeah. Okay. And you, what books do you read a lot of financials? Yeah.
so like in my fucking
So it's coming. It's coming.
yes.
Do you touch on your topics? Any favorite authors? Or?
I mean, I like a lot of your self-help books, you know, non-fictional.
Yeah, so
I think anything about finances.
I need to get into that. I need to get the topic of that.
Wow, it's life changing. You know what? In the one thing I do appreciate, the one book that I really appreciate that had nothing to do with finances, is How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was my first book ever, and it changed my mindset completely. The information I got from the book, and I took it and I applied it in real life, changed my life completely. I was able to build very good relationships, and not just acquaintances, not just networks, but even true friends. You know, just
what
the idea of
what did it kind of teach you?
it taught me how to be selfless in any situation, because that's what friendship is about, right? It's almost like a trade.
Yeah.
What do you give me, and what do I give you? Not necessarily materialistic things, but more of content.
Yeah. Like I think people overlook the mental aspect of it, you know, the emotional aspect of a friendship.
Yes.
It's not about monetary gain in a friendship.
Yes.
Maybe in a business relationship, in the sense of, okay, well, I'm partnering up with X and it'll help me with Y. But in a friendship, there's so much you gotta remember in the sense of like, okay, well, I need to realize that this person is either gonna add to my life or they're not. And I don't know about you, but I've seen, once you get out of high school, there's, you know, you're surrounded with all these people.
Yeah.
And at least I saw it, because I think for like months before I left our high school that we went to, it kind of just went down. People just didn't speak and this. And I expected when I left no one to reach out. And that's fine. I didn't. That is what happens after school. You have this, maybe a handful of people.
Yeah.
That might reach out. Might.
It's might.
Exactly. And we went to the same school, but we never spoke or hung out, or maybe a greeting, passing each other or whatever, but it was never a friendship in school.
Yeah.
And I think we said this the other day, but we joined in business and became friends through business.
And it just became, just from, hey man, let's make profits, into, hey man, how are you feeling today? I get you.
It's weird questions, because for me, I think those are questions that are normal. You know, how are you feeling? How are you doing mentally? How are you doing physically? does your mental health reflect on your physical health? Those are normal at least I try to surround myself with those normal characteristics. I ran into situations where it gets reciprocated positively, and people are like, oh, that's great, I actually feel a bit down and this and that.
Yeah.
And it's been reciprocated negatively where someone's been like, well, no one ever asks me that, and then gets defensive about it. And I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying that, okay, well, I think if you can't express your mental health, you need to find better friends.
Wow.
That's my view. For your personal sake,
It's a lot of wisdom there.
I don't know. I think if you go look at yourself and if you need help and your friends, let's say, not saying that your friends won't help. I'm just saying that it doesn't provide you a place to talk about it. Even if it's one friend, or you can't talk to all your friends, or maybe you like to keep it different. Life isn't black and white. I believe in the greys and the darker greys and the lighter greys, but maybe you like to keep it separate and you like to talk to your psychiatrist and not your friends. And that's fine. Maybe you like to talk to your friends and not your psychiatrist. Even though I think that's a little bit worse, because unless you're open, that okay, well, your friends don't know, but they're just trying to help. I think it's all about being listened to. I think if you can sit and be listened to, but also express that you're sad, then or that you're having a bad time. And we've had those discussions where we've gone over the phone and when you came and you collected a bag with some gifts inside.
Always my favorite moments with you.
And then you literally pulled up to your apartment and car just yes, and it forced us into a conversation that we needed to have. And it wasn't that we didn't want to have it. It's just sometimes you don't realize that you need to have
certain conversations in your life.
Exactly.
To move on to the next chapter. I love that.
Yeah, we've had the discussion when we're sitting at on the top of a golf, like a clubhouse. Yeah, like a clubhouse, having a clippies and coke.
It was great moments.
Yeah, talking about life and why some relationships work and some don't. What I've done in my relationships and might have fucked them out, and what have you done in yours that might have excelled them. But I think what's nice about it is that we've gone on our own paths and come back and we've bounced together to kind of, okay, well, we checked in, okay, well, you did this, I did this, okay, cool. And I've learned from you in the sense of I need to stop being so analytical in my personal life.
Wow.
And more in my business life, sure, but not my personal life. Like,
you know what? It's funny that it's really funny that you say that, because I wish I was just as analytical as you are in my personal life.
But I think it's weird how. What do you mean? Do you mean that in the sense of relationships?
Yeah, just relationships and just decision making.
Give me an example of something that, like a relationship that you wish you were more analytical with.
Okay.
You can use aliases. You don't need to.
So one of the relationships that I've. So I just want to talk. Okay, let me talk about a relationship with my own father. Right now, I'm at a happy place with my own father. But a few years back, we couldn't see each other eye to eye. And only now that I'm starting to realize how important it is to be analytical and to be selfless in situations and all of that. And only now I'm starting to realize that there are a lot of things that I could have changed back then that could have kept my relationship with my father perfectly fine. And I just look back and I think to myself, you know what, if I was just as in, and this is not to say that I regret anything.
Yeah, but you would love to. I
would have loved to do certain things, with the relationship with my father. But like I said, I'm very happy right now where I am with my own father, and I appreciate it even more now. And hence I say I don't regret not having a good relationship with him previously, because it forced me to come out of my own comfort zone.
Yeah.
It forced me to realize certain things in life that work and that don't.
Yeah.
with or without my father's advice. And you know, it's just a lot of things that I learned while my father and I were not in good terms. But now that I've matured, and trust me, it's not the end of the road. I still need to mature even more, even with my other relationships. But I think the most important thing for me is what I've learned, you know, not being with my own father. And hence I say I really I don't want to necessarily say envy you in a way, but I really like how you analyze your relationships currently with your own parents, the conversations we've had with your own girlfriend, with your own family. I've learned so much from that.
Yeah.
Kyle, you really are a great person. You really have taught me a lot.
I'm glad that I can help, because I think it goes both ways. I don't see myself helping in the sense of directly, and that's not my aim. It's never been my aim in conversation to help. I think it's to listen and to like, okay, well, it goes with the mindset of if your friend is sad or if you're sad. I don't know about you, but I never want someone to just be like, it'll be okay. I want you to ask a question, you know, or like why you might be feeling like this, because I think it creates a conversation with your own head, or within you, I think. And when you come to me upset, or when we bring up a topic that is a personal topic, it's just asking questions, and then it kind of, neither of us are laying our hands on the conversation. I'm not laying my hands on the conversation like, I want you to say this. And
so I can feel better about myself.
I want you to feel better about yourself. So
yeah.
I feel like shit. Okay, well, you're not shit, and then you turn it. You need to listen to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do you feel like shit? The moment you start asking the questions, why, and those tough questions, why do you feel like shit? Like why are we finding ourselves at a crossroads in business, where, you know, why am I feeling happiness about option A but sadness about option B? You know, maybe, and both questions seem to be answered. You can't answer one question or the other. So I'm glad, because I feel you've helped me exactly the same way in just having conversations and teaching me that it's like, okay, well, sometimes it isn't just about the direct answer. What we said the other day when we went out to lunch, and we were like, okay, but sometimes it isn't about the textbook answer.
Yeah.
It's not. Life isn't black and white. You're not going to have the textbook answer.
Yeah.
Sometimes one person can do one thing and another person can do another thing, but together you both are building this beautiful thing. You know, both of you. And it can so easily be taken that, no, actually, person A gets upset at person B because they aren't doing this, or they aren't answering our questions, or but you can't get upset with them. Keeping an open mind is the only way you're going to be able to have a conversation. The only way that you can grace through it is to have that open mind. And that not laying your hands in the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can make not so many friends, you can influence lives by just open mind and having a conversation. Some people don't like the personal questions. That's an art form. To know when to ask the questions and when not to know. And that's not saying that I know when to ask the questions.
Yeah.
I don't, but I'm trying to learn and figure it out. Yeah.
I mean, you've got a great journey ahead of you, so.
No, we got a great
great journey ahead of you. I like that. Cheers to that, Kyle. I've got a question for you. It's a
phone. Phone okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got one interesting question for you. Maybe we'll have like two more topics. Okay. I've got an interesting question for you, Kyle. How do you deal with failure, and how do you deal with success? And the second question is, with other outcomes from either the failure or the success, how does it make you grow as a person? Do you realize that growth in yourself, or does it take someone else to recognize it and say to you, okay, Kyle, you're on another level right now?
I think you don't know what you don't know. So I think I can only go back to what I know now in the sense of our business. I didn't realize we started having success until we started speaking about it, and that won't happen unless you are so far deep down in your work. At least that's why the type of person I am. I get so deep down in my work that I don't realize that, okay, well, I either one, need to stop and breathe, or two, that I've actually done it, or three, you know what, I'm not doing the right thing. I kind of know when I'm not doing the right thing by reading the situation, but I have a harder time recognizing the success and the failure, which is, I guess, a good trait, but also a bad trait. That's why I think our partnership works well, because when I've been struggling and thinking that, okay, well, I'm failing at a certain topic, we've had, I don't know how it's happened, but we've had it.
It always works.
We always have a discussion that night, or that's something about, dude, we actually got this offer from this. I'm like,
big offer.
And it's like,
it's so overwhelming.
Yeah,
but you have the other person on the other hand who says, okay, well, it's a win, but it could be a loss.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it's still,
it's
still progress. So whether you get the offer or not, we had an offer from the bond originator before. We had a meeting, and it didn't. In blanket term, it was a failure meeting.
Yeah.
Right. In blanket term.
Yeah.
But
so depressed with that meeting.
But
yeah.
But it was a confirmation. In my brain, it's exactly. It literally gave us the nod that we are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
The way I see it is that we have this point-to-point thing, and we've already drawn a dotted line instead of the solid line, right? And that's our trajectory. And something will come in to confirm that line is true.
It's true.
That meeting that we had at the bond
so analytical.
That literally, and I got off the phone. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, yes, it was a failure of a meeting, but he wanted numbers. That's exactly what we said that we needed to bring up.
That's powerful.
So it was a nod that we were in the right direction, and that was only a nod because we had failed at a meeting.
Yeah.
But who gives a shit? You know, you're gonna fail in meetings. That
you're gonna get a lot of Michael Jordan. What failed?
Yeah, I mean, everyone
shoot 1,000 times or something like that. Something about the saying.
Listen,
Michael Jordan.
the only way you're gonna practice to sink your shots is by missing your shots. So it's it doesn't. And for me, I don't. And I'm not the most positive person. You know, I'm not the most positive person. But
got your days.
Yeah, but the trajectory, knowing that we were meant to bring in the numbers, was already our plan, and we didn't have the necessary numbers. But they also approached us because of our branding. We at the time we looked like a bigger brand than we were. So I know that our branding is right. So our branding is correct on that side. Now it's just the number side. So I don't give a fuck about the branding anymore because I have that set.
Yeah.
So now it's
like
just
moving on to the next.
Yeah.
Win.
So, exactly. So it was for me. I saw it as a success. And then we got an offer right after that literally changed most of the way we act working.
Yeah.
So it worked. Wow. I think at the end of the day, success and failure are basically on the same level. It's you recognize a failure, you recognize a success. Sometimes it's harder to recognize a success because you don't want to get lost in celebrating. And I think you grow and learn from both. I think as long as you look at how you can improve it. How can I improve my designs? How can we improve our team strategies? How can we move forward? What is our financial plan for the year? What is this and that?
You can't improve what you don't know.
Exactly.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to know is by asking.
Yeah.
And addressing the topics. And if we both come to a trajectory where you're like, okay, well, I don't know, then we go.
So yeah. Wow. Kyle, you're such an inspiration. What to our viewers out there, you know, just listening to us have a conversation, a simple conversation, very casual, about life, school, you know, young people doing it, working hard, creating a great life, you know. Kyle, you know, you like I said, I get inspired a lot just interacting with you, asking you for advice now and then. and just you as a person, constantly asking me how I'm doing, is everything okay, how am I, how do I feel, you know, those important, those things are important to me, you know. And for someone out there, viewers watching, especially the youth, or actually anyone, age is just a number, to anyone that's facing difficulties, how do you deal with difficulties, and how can you inspire someone out there watching? So if someone as young as you are, doing very well, running your own company, signing really good deals, securing big partnerships, at your age, you're doing extremely well. How do you inspire someone out there, whether they're doing a 9 to 5, whether they're running their own business or starting their own business, whether they planning, they don't know what to do with their lives? How are you going to inspire someone out there? What do you have to say to them?
I think at the end of the day, it will always revolve around you as a person. So, and acknowledging that. So I realized that the only way that I'm going to move forward as a person is to make sure that I know where I stand. But that also means that if you don't know where you stand, that accepting that you don't know is okay. You won't always know. You won't always know if the career that you chose is correct, or if your relationship is correct. But asking yourself that question, I mean, I've asked myself with my relationship, with my girlfriend now, listen, do I think that am I happy? When I am clearly happy, but asking yourself the obvious questions, and actually listening to those questions will always reveal a conversation, whether you are happy or whether you're not happy, or whether, and I think it shouldn't be as complicated as that. If you aren't happy, change something. No matter how rough it is, change it. If you are happy, then keep it, and then work on something else. If you're happy with your relationship, you're not happy with your work life, how can you change your work life? Ask the questions.
So do you think the most important thing in trying to figure it out in this life thing, it boils down to the questions instead of the answers?
Exactly. I think the questions determine the answers. Well, in some, I think the questions determine the answers. So always keep your questions open. That's with people. You know, do I think that asking those questions are hard? 100%. But once you cross that hard barrier,
you're through.
Yeah.
You're through.
You've learned.
Wow. Kyle, such a gentleman. What an honor it is. What an honor it is. By the way, don't do this at home. You're not allowed to shake hands. We still have the COVID-19 going on. We haven't sanitized. But hey, thank you so much for watching. This was our first podcast.
Yeah, podcast.
Sorry, podcast. Okay, this was our first podcast. We really appreciate. Please subscribe on our channel, Libertalia Group, Libertalia Real Estate.
Thanks, Bradley.
We thank the cameraman behind, the videographer, who's just partnered with us as well.
His battery died.
His battery did die earlier on, but we had the patience. We had the patience, and thank you so much. Really, we appreciate your views, your comments. Please like, share. I hope this conversation that I've had with this incredible person, business partner, very good friend of mine, Kyle Mckay. Please really look out for him. If you see Libertalia, you know he's the man behind that whole machine. He's running it.
That's not true.
He's such a captain. Nah, he's him and I are doing it now.
There we go.
Okay, it's all about teamwork, right?
Yeah.
It's all about teamwork. No, really, thank you so much. I'm going to continue with these. I'm gonna host the next person. Just follow us on social media, Libertalia on Instagram, Libertalia_IG, on Facebook, Libertalia Real Estate. We're on LinkedIn as well, Libertalia Real Estate. Okay. Okay, cool. So many of you have asked me what Libertalia means. Some of you ask me if it's an English name, it's an African name, like people are just asking me questions. So I feel like I just need to disclose this. So Libertalia is actually a small town in Madagascar. I actually love the story behind it. It's about selflessness. So there were pirates that came into the city, they took over the land and the treasures, and when they left, just before they left, you know, the journey and their mission, they gave all that land, treasure, and everything else back to its own people. So that idea for me was such an incredible mindset, so inspiring. And I thought, you know, if we had to put ourselves out there as a brand that is selfless, offering selfless services, we're offering services to our people, we're offering services to the economy to improve our continent in every way. You know, we all belong together, we are all one. And the best way to deal with whatever situation that we deal with is to be selfless and offer certain services. And for those of you who are wondering what Libertalia is, Libertalia Group, we are a group that has subsidies. We're involved in the real estate, finance, and lifestyle industry. So when it comes to real estate, we sell properties, we buy and sell properties, we lease out properties, asset management. We're venturing into insurance. When it comes to the finance department, we're also involved in the bond origination. We do home loans for eventually, hopefully, we'll work on our NCR certificates so we can start a home loan bank. Libertalia is actually an emerging company. It's a private company. In simple terms, it's an intermediary company that specializes in real estate, finance, and lifestyle. So that's who we are. We have Kyle here, Kyle Mckay. He's a managing director of Libertalia Group. I'm your host, and I'm your group executive as well. And yeah, look out for our next video. We'll be looking for more powerful, inspiring trailblazers, motivational people who have done it, who have done very well. We'll look out to host them as well, to have them as guests on our show, and just to tell them more and to basically learn from them as well. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in the next time.